Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on JavaScript CRUD series. In this video, we are going to send an HTTP request to get all the available data from the MockAPI. If in case this is the first time that you are landing on my video, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to get notification whenever I get uploaded with a new video. If in case you don't know what we are doing, this is the series where I am starting with the JavaScript CRUD operation. I used MockAPI site to get API support, and I'll be using a pure JavaScript in the front end to get all the API related stuff. We are going to get a functionality like get, post, put and delete. And of course we will be having a get by ID as well, so you will be able to know how to work with the APIs when we are working with this series. In the last video itself, I have created a project under this MockAPI website that's called as YouTube, and within this YouTube you can see that I have generated this 15 data. If in case you don't know how to create a project and data, you just go ahead and check the previous video and then come back to this video, so that you will be having a great understanding of what's actually going on in this one. Now let me click on this edit option so that we can get API details. With that API details, you can send a request and populate all the data. First, let me click on this edit. Just scroll down. You will be able to see there are many different APIs, I mean the endpoints. First and foremost is get. Another one is also get, but the difference between this to get is this is get all and this is get by ID. Here you can see in the endpoint itself they accept ID. Then we have a post, and then we have a put, then we have a delete, and that put and delete respectively accepts an ID. I'll be telling you what is this ID, how you can get and those things. First I'm going to send one request to this endpoint so that I can grab all the 15 data. So first and foremost, before sending any request, we need to know what is the base address and then the path. So the base address, here you can see that from this link you can get it. So what is a path? And that's nothing but v1. So let me cancel this because I'm not going to do any changes. Copy this entire base URL, copy, go to the new tab, paste it and hit enter. Obviously you will not get any data as a response because we have to add the path. Once you added the path, you can see that you get enough data. So this is the data that I'm about to get in the JavaScript. So let me move back to my JavaScript file. This JavaScript file is available in this HTML. So last video we have done the setup for this entire series. If you wanted to know what are all the libraries that I added, please go ahead and watch the first video and then come back to this. In the JavaScript, we need to write some code to send the HTTP request. For sending HTTP request, I will be using the default fetch API. This fetch API accepts two different parameters. One is nothing but the URL, another one is nothing but the parameters. Since this is the default get API, I am not going to send any parameter. I am going to send only the URL. So what is the URL? We have that URL in the browser window. Just go to the browser, copy this, whatever that we have in this browser window, and keep that in mind. Browser only support get, it will not support put, post, delete requests. Okay, since this is a get, it supports by default by the browser. So let me copy the URL. Within a fetch, I just added. If in case you don't know what the fetch is a function that accepts a URL and the parameter. It will send HTTP request to that URL and returns the response. The response by default in the format of promise. Whenever you have any promise, that can be handled using then and then the catch method. This two method accepts the parameter, that's nothing but the callback functions. Since callback function promises are out of scope of this specific video series, I am not going to continue with that. As of now, that's how we are going to implement that. And this is how the fetch API is implemented everywhere, wherever you go. Now, fetch is done. Once you get response, if it is success, then it will go to the then block. If it has any error, it will go to the catch block. First, let's add some code in the catch block. I am using arrow function to handle the error response. So let me have a error variable, which will get the error. So console.error, whatever the message I'm getting, you can directly use the variable, or else you can add some message and then print the object. That doesn't issue. In the then block, I'm going to have one variable callback function that accepts one variable. I just name it as data. We will be doing a little more work with this. As of now I'm just using the data. So let's send this request and print whatever the response that we get in the console.log window. Let me right click and open this HTML file with open with live server option. Let it open. So here you can see the JavaScript series on YouTube. So let me open the console.log. Here you can see I got a response. The response is not the one that I expected. So here you can see I get the different data. This data in the format of array of objects, but this is not the one that I expected. Why? Because by default whatever the data that we are getting, that's in the format of stream. You cannot do anything with the stream. You have to convert that stream data into a JSON, then you can work with that. So let me do that. Here only we are going to get the actual response body. So before this, then I'm going to add one more then that accepts the actual response that in the format of stream. I just convert that stream data into JSON. So data.json, so that my data got changed to the JSON format, and then here you can see I get 15 data. This is the total amount of data that I got created in this MockAPI website. Hope you guys able to follow with me. If not, just put it in the chat box. I will be able to answer those. Here you can see that I'm getting array of object. There are actually 14 in that array, which usually starts from 0. So it's actually 15 data. Now we know that how to send a HTTP request and then get the response and print it on the console.log window. As of now there is no error at all. If it is an error, then you will be get those error in the catch block and that get printed in the error response. So that's how we have written the code. In the next video we will be writing some code so that whatever the data that I have here that get populate on the UI screen. In the UI screen we will be using Bootstrap, and in the first video itself I have completed how to set up Bootstrap for the application. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, go ahead and hit subscribe. That actually motivate me to do a lot more work like this. And if you need any specific tutorial or so, please let me know in the comment box. That helps me to proceed further with that. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Share with your friends. Thanks. Bye bye. Meet you in another video.